if any of you end up kind of presenting yourselves, which we're going to see what we have time for, I will not record then. I will stop the recording. So don't worry about that. I'm just going to record the content. And then it's very exciting. We have the founder of CoronaCrush, Ian Mark, will join us later, and he'll be interviewed by Rabbi Mendel Schwartz of the High Center here in Los Angeles. Maybe you guys will get to ask him some questions about how he came up with CoronaCrush and how it's working. So some of you came maybe because you know me, Jessica Fass, a Fast Pass to Love matchmaker. Some of you came because you know the Facebook group CoronaCrush. And some of you might have come from the High Center, the Kesher Institute, or J Hype of Houston, Texas. We're really excited to have all these awesome partners today on this event. So that brought even more of you together. The more partners that we had, the more we were able to get the word out about this event. And oh, let's not forget Aliza Ben Shalom of the Marriage Minded Mentor. So I thank all of the partners. I'll put their names in the chat box. It's great to be registered on all of these organizations' mailing lists so that you never miss an event about dating and relationships and speed dating during the pandemic, because all of these organizations are either providing educational content about how to do dating and relationships smarter and wiser, and they're providing speed dating events and mixers. So you want to make sure you're following all of us on Facebook, any social media, and being on the email list. Okay, so again, that's the High Center, the Kesher Institute, J Hype, which is Jewish Houston young professionals, and the Marriage Minded Mentor. If Rachel, if you could type those in the chat box when you get a chance, so everybody knows all the organizations who are sponsoring today. And it's awesome to see everyone joining from Oxnard, from Washington, DC, Pennsylvania, San Diego, Toronto, Istanbul. That's awesome. This is super exciting. Okay, so just some housekeeping. Some of you have been invited to the speed dating event, which starts at 5 p.m. Pacific and 8 p.m. Eastern. You'll want to jump off right at 5 so that you are on time for your speed dating events. If you have any technical difficulties, please email this address, team@coronacrush.co. Hopefully Ian, the founder of CoronaCrush in Israel, it looks like he's pulling an all-nighter and he is graciously going to stay awake and help with any technical difficulties, I think, as you get started. If you've been to one of their speed dating events before, you already know, but if you were invited now, so anyone that did not get an invitation, it's only because there wasn't enough relevant mutual matches to make it worth your while. But I'm happy to stay on the Zoom after, and maybe we can go around and everybody can do like a 1-minute pitch about themselves. So I'm happy to stay on after 5 for those of you who don't have speed dates. For those of you who do have speed dates, you're going to want to jump off right at 5, and you're going to have an email with different links for your dates. You do have to keep track of your own dates. So if it starts at 5 p.m. and the next one's at 5:07, you kind of have to keep track, and it's okay. You can politely excuse yourself to go to the next date. And it's with a different app called Jitsu or Jitsi. And then you just need to keep clicking on your link to go to your next date. Okay, so that's how that works. And those of you who did not get an email from team@coronacrush.co, I mean, just check your spam and your promotions tab one more time just to make sure you didn't miss anything. And if you did not get invited, so there weren't enough relevant mutual matches, but you can stay on with me and I'm happy to get to know you, and you can introduce yourself to the other participants. Okay, so if you have to go at 5 to your speed dates, then go. And if not, you can stay on. All right, so I think that's all the housekeeping. Let's see. We have someone from Colorado, from Cambridge, Massachusetts, New York City. Super exciting. We have all ages, all locations today. Okay, so my specific topic to talk about all of you today is well, first of all, I'm going to do a poll. Okay, so I want to know, what is your biggest challenge with dating today? So you all should see the poll on the screen and be able to vote. So I'll give you all a second to vote, just in case the technology isn't working. Can someone chat me if you cannot see the poll? And if you can see the poll, can you also tell me that? And Rachel, just keep your eyes still on the participants coming in, because there'll still be people coming in throughout. Okay, great. Everybody is voting. So that you have your choices of, I like online dating, but I don't think I'm using it correctly. I don't like online dating, and it's the only way to meet people now. I don't know what to do on in-person dates during the pandemic. I don't know what to do on virtual dates during the pandemic. Um, I don't like virtual dating. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. My mindset is not the best for dating right now, understandably. Or I'm not comfortable to meet people in person until the pandemic is over. All valid points and concerns, and all things that I have heard before. Someone messaged me that they cannot see the poll. That's really interesting. I'm not sure why. So don't worry, though, you'll see the poll results because I'm getting a lot of answers coming in. Um, and what I'm going to say about this while the answers are coming in is that um, a lot of these are limiting beliefs. Okay, so I'm gonna bust some of these beliefs right now. The I don't like online dating. It's, it's a tool and it has its pluses and minuses like any tool does, but it can be used more effectively. So it's very true that you could be using it wrong, meaning you need the best photos to everything is so visual these days. So you need the best. I recommend professional photos that pop. I can find a professional photographer in anyone's area. So just feel free to email Rachel after. We'll find a professional photographer in your area. That's step number one. Step number two is to have a really awesome written profile. And my team and I also can write amazing profiles. So we can do a strategy session, help you even write your profile live so you get it done. And that's another thing that can be holding you back. The third thing you could be doing wrong with online dating is you could be not transferring your texting, your chats to an actual in-person date or Zoom date fast enough, because you know the saying, you snooze you lose. So if you take too long and you're going back and forth with texting over the app or on regular text, you're going to lose momentum. So the people that really stand out in today's dating economy are the people that are willing to make that next jump to the phone or to a virtual date and not let it go on in perpetuity, forever, with just back and forth texting. So that's some things that you could be fixing on online dating to make you go from I don't like it to okay, it's a tool and I'm meeting good high quality people here and let's use it. So please just come to us. We're happy to do online dating revamps, rewrites, because you have this tool under your fingertips. You can be your own matchmaker. And so it's very important just to be using it effectively. And the next thing is that people come to me and tell me, and you can still vote, you guys, I still have the poll up, is I don't know what to do in person on dates during the pandemic. Very valid point. Like California is going into lockdown again. All the restaurants are closed, even for outdoor dining. But you can still go on walks at beaches and parks. We're so lucky that we have beautiful weather here still in December. Somebody's not on mute. Rachel, can you just go through and check if everyone's on mute? Oh, I can push mute all. Okay. Okay, so everyone's on mute right now. Sorry, because there's background noise. So you can go on walks and beaches and in parks. You can have picnics. It's very true that there's kind of no dating after dark right now, as I call it, which can be a great thing because you get to know someone in daylight hours, like while walking. It's really good because it stimulates your mind more to be doing something active and not just sitting across from each other static. And the second date, if you like someone, can be a picnic. The first date, a picnic, can be a little bit intimate. And the second date, support local businesses, restaurants, get takeout from even healthy places. California Chicken Cafe is a good chain that I can think of here. Even El Pollo Loco has really healthy takeout. It doesn't have to be McDonald's. So many of even the fancy restaurants are staying open for takeout. So it's really good to be a patron of these small businesses, and you go on your date, so it's win-win. And you also have to be you have to be understanding if your date wants to keep social distance and wear a mask, and we all just have to be more patient. But it is possible to go on dates during social distancing. You just have to also be aware that your date might not want to come over to your house right away. So it's slowing down the whole dating process. You might not go on into someone's house until like a 10th date or something like that, just like have a movie night. And that's okay. And your date might ask you, like, let's both get tested before you come over. And you just have to be okay with somebody else's COVID comfort level, is what I call it. Okay, so okay. Sorry, I need to close my WhatsApp. People are still messaging me while I'm on this. Um, okay, so for virtual dates, you need to, I have a guide that I will send to anyone. By the way, put your email in the chat box. Or sorry, we probably won't be able to grab them all, maybe. You can put your email in the chat box, but please also email Rachel after this at team@fastpasstolove.com if you want a copy of my presentation today, you want a copy of my ideas for virtual dates. A lot of you have it already who know me, but I'm happy to make sure you all have all this content. Okay, so I'm gonna end the poll just so that you guys could see what all the results were. So we had 27% think, I like online dating, I don't think I'm using it right. Okay, so we can help you. I don't like online dating, it's the only way to meet people now, 30%. I don't know what to do on the in-person dates, 14%. Hopefully I helped you guys with that. I don't know what to do on virtual dates. Okay, so we're getting to that one. For virtual dates, you wanna do, like I see someone here, Glenn has like this nice background of the ocean. It could be nice to have different virtual backgrounds of places that you've traveled. Maybe when you get more comfortable, you have a picture from your history behind you. You know, I lived in Tel Aviv. I have cool pictures of me doing things there. So you might want to have like a slideshow of like, this is your life, of your family, of your friends. And you can change the slideshow like behind you. And this is more for like a third virtual date. But it can be really cool to like constantly, like I see Glenn changed his picture again. So that's pretty cool to like keep changing your background and you have more to talk about. What else you can do is there's virtual tours right now of museums, art galleries. It can be a little cheesy. There's Ride Every Ride at Disneyland. You can like, I tried it. It's pretty cool. You look like you're on, they shot it in 4K. It looks like you're on the ride together and you can screen share and you can do that. You can watch funny YouTube videos together. You can binge watch a series on Netflix Party Watch. This is after a few a few virtual dates. And I also have a guide for good questions to ask on virtual dates. Okay, so that's what you can do for virtual dating. And another one was, I don't like virtual dating. Maybe I'm doing it wrong. Yes, maybe you are doing it wrong. So I also offer something called mock dates where I can do a mock date with you and give you feedback. Are you not asking enough questions or interesting questions? Are you not doing active listening and asking your date like good follow-up questions? The key, gentlemen, is follow-up questions. A woman will fall for you if she knows that you're listening to her. Active listening, it's like, oh, you have a sister. What does she do? She has kids. How old are they? Oh, you cooked today? What did you cook? All it takes is asking follow-up questions and being curious about the other person. And ladies, this applies to you as well. You can also ask men the follow-up question. This also applies right now, you guys, for like, listen up. You're all about to go, most of you, on virtual speed dates, one-on-one. You only have like 7 minutes to make a good first impression. You really want to do active listening. Don't spend time talking about the coronavirus, okay? Like, you want to get that like out of it. And you want to like ask, who are you as a person? Like, what have you learned about yourself during quarantine? What's a cool skill that you worked on or that you picked up? So you want to ask, like, you only have 7 minutes again to make a good first impression. So like, gentlemen, you should start with the lady and say, tell me about yourself. Let the lady speak first. It's the gentlemanly thing to do. And then ladies, make sure you ask some nice questions back of the gentleman, and just try to make it as fun and light as possible when you only have the 7 minutes. And maybe you're going to talk about some of your deal breakers preferences that I'm going to go into in a minute. Some people, 16% wrote, I'm shy during virtual events. So bravo for you guys for being here. That's great because you're at a virtual event. And I just encourage you, keep going to them, keep practicing pitching yourself, and you're just going to get more comfortable. Just like anything in life, the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get. And then today is one-on-one, because some people don't feel comfortable pitching in this group setting, because I've done a lot of speed dating events in a group right now. And I totally get that. So that today you're going to shine more, I think, when you have your one-on-one dates. So we're trying to offer both the group setting and the one-on-one to give you a chance to try both, because some people shine at one and some the other. And if you are shy at virtual events, always come to mine, because I always make everybody feel seen, heard, and understood. And I don't leave anybody hanging, and I want to present you in the best light possible. So keep coming to my events, you won't regret them, and just keep practicing your pitching, your dating pitch muscles. So 16%, that's a lot. You're in good company who are actually shy during virtual events. And 5% said my mindset is not the best for dating right now. Totally understand. And if it's not, you might want to give yourself a little dating break. But I hope that after today, you're going to be like pumped up again more. If you need a pep talk or a boost, I will give you one of my famous matchmaking strategy sessions, and we'll try to get your mindset in the right place. And everybody that attends today will get a link for a $30 discount for my strategy session. And if you want, hopefully I'll be able to put in the link for the mock date as well. If I don't get to it, please email team@fastpasstolove.com and we will get you all the information. And then the last thing, 16%, I'm having a hard time defining my deal breakers versus preferences, and I think it's holding me back. That is fascinating. Oh, did I not share the results? Hold on, did I share them? Okay, can everybody see them now? Hopefully, so you guys can all see the results I was talking about. 16%, yeah, said that defining their deal breakers and preferences might be holding them back. So that's amazing. I'm so glad you're here today because we're going to get to that right now. So I actually think this was kind of a test. Everything above the last point, the deal breakers versus preferences, they can be limiting beliefs and myths that you tell yourself. And really, the thing that can be holding you back is that you didn't define your deal breakers and preferences. And so you don't really know what you're looking for. And that is what's holding you back more than like, I don't like virtual dates, or I don't know what to do on in-person dates. If you haven't defined what you really, who you really are and what you really want, the rest of it goes out the window. It doesn't matter. So let's get to that right now. I will stop sharing the poll. Hopefully you guys all saw those results. And let's get to that right now, and I will help you define them. Now, this poll, I just want to ask you guys all really quick as I'm getting started. Do you think that you have too many deal breakers in dating right now? Yes, no, or I'm not sure. And okay. Wow, it's flying in these results. We're getting 16% said yes, they have too many deal breakers. 55% are saying no. 56, and I'm not sure is at 32%. So that's very interesting that a lot of you are admitting that you just aren't sure, which is great. And then so many, like more than half of you are saying, no, I don't have too many. So we're going to find out in a minute if I agree with you. And 15% admitted yes. I'm going to end the poll and share the results so you can all see. Isn't that amazing? So more than half of you think that you don't have too many. Okay. And Rachel, by the way, feel free to come off mute if anybody said anything that I really need to address in the chat. It looks like a lot of you are sharing your email addresses. That's really wise to do while we're on here. So that way, I would put your name, your age, if you're comfortable, and your location, and not just your email, so that people go, oh, it's a pretty girl, 31 in Southern California. Like, let me save that email address. If you just put your email address, then the person doesn't know who that email address belonged to. Does that make sense? Okay, I'm gonna stop the poll. So yeah, you also can add into the chat maybe some hobbies or things you're looking for, whatever you feel comfortable sharing, because the more you share in the chat, the more that someone's gonna know if they're a relevant match and that they should message you. Okay, cool. So deal breakers and preferences. I call it my 8 key preferences. So I want to reframe that we call it deal breakers. I want to call it preferences. So I'm going to share my screen with you all for a minute. Okay, so this is my document that you all can get a copy of if you email us after the event. So, I can make it full screen, I think. Okay, great. Please tell me if you cannot see this for some reason. I'm putting the faces to the side so that everyone can see this nice graphic. Okay. The deal breakers versus preferences, the eternal question. Matchmakers tips to target your search for love. Okay, so I say below are the 8 key preferences deal breakers that I encourage matchmaker Jessica Fass advises singles to stay open-minded on if you want to be realistic in your search for lasting love and find your bashert as fast as you can. For those of you who don't know, my last name is Fass, so my company is named after the Disneyland Fast Pass, which gets you to the front of the line when you go to Disneyland. Because I grew up at college, I lived down the street from Disneyland, so my nickname was Fast Pass. So it's a cute little trick. Um, how should you decide when to give a potential match a chance and when to pass on a dating opportunity? You can learn how to recognize when a match is on target for you by understanding and clarifying what is most important to you first by using the self test below. I also utilize this same test as a screening tool to help my clients stay focused on finding their match. Being overly selective or picky can really complicate your search. Your goal is to remain open minded on 4 out of 8 of the key categories. Then you are well on your way to finding your match. Okay, so again, I want to reframe this and not call it deal breakers, which sounds like a negative word. We want to call it your preferences. So these are the 8 key ones that in my 7 years of doing matchmaking as a business that I realized that you want to be open on 4 out of 8 of them. So if you give yourself this little self test, and last time I did this presentation, someone wrote me, "Oh, I was much more open than I thought. That really makes me feel good." And someone else wrote me, "Wow, I was closed on 7 of them. So I understand now why I'm single." So I really hope this is like a light bulb, like aha moment today, like after you go through this. So we'll go through them kind of quickly today. Age range, youngest to oldest that you're open to dating. So, well, first I'll just say them all. We've got age range, location, political views, religious observance level, physical appearance preferences, cultural/ethnic background, marital status, and do you want to have children? I think pretty much everybody knew these already. Like it's kind of common knowledge, but then you were kind of like, oh yeah, and I forgot that one. And yeah, that one's important too. Okay, age range. That I tell all my clients that men should be open to dating up to 4 to 5 years older than them. Not always, it depends on the man's age. And women should be open to 10 to 15 years older. Again, it depends on what your age is. But you know what I find is men always want to date younger. And so that's a generalization, but it's true. So just don't judge what I call it an age on a page, on a two-dimensional profile that gets emailed to you or that you see on online dating. Judge a whole person. Okay, don't just judge age on a page. Um, and men also, like a woman can look very good for her age, and if you're only 30, you could be open to someone 34. I hear the thing about the fertility all the time. It's a very sensitive subject, but you don't know if someone 28 is fertile, and then someone 36 could end up being more fertile than the person that was 28. You never know. So I like to tell people, judge the person if they are the right potential life partner for you, and you will figure out how to have children together. Don't just judge an age on a page. You really could be missing your basheret. If you go on online dating and you just opened your age filter by like 2 more years plus, your person could be there. Like today, as soon as we get off this Zoom, I challenge you, go back on online dating, open your age range by 2 or 3 years higher, and you might get all these more matches that you missed because you picked 46 as your cutoff, and that was it. And just go up to 50, ladies, and you'll have more options. Guys, go up by 3 more years and see what you find. I'm going to stop the screen share just so that you guys, I've been told that then my face looks really small. So hopefully everybody saw that, and I'm happy to email the handout after, but I'm going to keep going through them. Okay, and we have 15 more minutes until the founder of CoronaCrush is going to speak to us a bit. And then again, I'm going to stay on after for people who didn't get speed dates, and happy to have a little group chat, answer any questions. Okay. The second thing is location. So you want to try to be open on location. There's only so many Jews in the world. And unless you live in Israel, New York, Los Angeles, or Miami, those are the Jewish hotbeds, the most Jews in the world. Other places, you want to try to be open on location. And I know we're in the middle of a global pandemic, but you can get to know someone here over Zoom, and you can get to know their true core values and character. And by the time you meet in person, you could almost be ready to get engaged because you asked all the hard questions already on your virtual dates. So it's like, it's like yalla already. Like you can go to the huppah, as soon as this pandemic ends, and you can embrace in each other's arms. I heard another rabbi say that, and I really agree with it. We're all kind of forced to be shomer negia because of COVID. So we might as well take this opportunity, as Eliza Ben Shalom would say, one of our sponsors today, and you should all do a free 15-minute consult with her too. She gives a free 15-minute coaching consult. She would say that even secular people should not touch for 5 dates, even in the regular world. because then you really know if you have like a true emotional bond with this person and you're not distracted by physical touch. So don't let location be a barrier. Talk to people from all over. Is just have a mindset of like, I might be open to relocate, or I'm open to someone who would relocate to me, and have the patience to do it. So you really have to ask yourself, do I have the patience to do it? If you really don't, and you don't have the money and the time to be flying back and forth to make long distance a reality for you, I get it. That can be one of your preferences. But if you can't, in Southern California is so big. And so before the pandemic, I would have people be like, I won't go from San Diego to LA. I won't go from LA to Orange County. Well, let's cross that off, okay? Because it actually can be fun to take a drive right now because we have nothing else to do and go to someone else's city. So let's cross that off the list. At least all of the tri-state area could be open to each other. All of Southern California could be open, even Northern and Southern California can be open to each other. I understand if California is not open to New York, but sometimes you can be. Okay, so that's my spiel on location. The next factor is political views. Okay, this is a big one. Yeah, you guys, I get it. We just went through a very divisive election. This one can really be one that stays on your list, and you can't budge, because if you're moderate, it's great. You can go with either side. So that's wonderful to be moderate right now. If you're extremely left or right, it can be very hard to be with the other side, and I totally get it. And that has to do a lot with your values and what values you want to instill in your future children. So if you have to keep politics as one of your deal breakers / preferences, I totally get that. But if you're moderate, just if you're moderate, think about okay, maybe you could go out with someone that voted for Trump, but if they have good reasoning. Do you know what I mean? And I don't really want to get too political on this, but the more open you are on that, the more options you have. Okay. If you're extreme one way or the other, I get it. If you're holding where you're holding. The next one is religious observance level. Okay, this is really interesting. You might, argue with me I'm Shomer Shabbat and Shomer Nagia, and I can only be with someone at the same level. And so it's kind of the same as politics. If you're extreme in observance level, and then with an extreme secular person, that is eating non-kosher, I get it. It's probably not a match. But if you're somewhere in the middle, like I grew up conservative and I do keep kosher, but it's okay if my match we eat out at non-kosher restaurants. Try not to let the food be the thing that stops you. Okay. Especially in Judaism, food is supposed to bring us together. So I really, really advise people not to have the food be the thing that stops you. You can figure it out. I think that someone non-kosher could learn to at least keep kosher in the home for their partner. And then maybe they go out to non-kosher restaurants, or they tell their partner, you can go out with friends. But guess what? Restaurants are closed right now. So that kind of goes out the window. And then in terms of Shabbat observance, it is very hard for someone keeping Shabbat to be with someone who never wants to keep Shabbat. But you might be with someone that was like, I didn't keep Shabbat alone, but I'm open to growing. So I'm okay being with someone who is keeping it, because it's going to help me start to learn. So again, the person that is more observant needs to have patience to teach the less observant one what to do. So I really believe that the religious level shouldn't stop you if you can find a happy medium. And the one person who's not on at the same level as the other, again, needs to be willing to grow. Okay. Okay. The next thing on the list is physical appearance preferences. Okay, that's a big one. Can you be with someone shorter, chubbier, maybe losing some hair, maybe with facial hair if you didn't prefer facial hair, maybe blonde if you preferred brunette. You really have to think about how important are these things to you. Or is it not that important and you care more about the heart and soul of the person? Of course, I hear this every day. I want to be with someone physically active who takes care of themselves. Okay, that's fine. Does the person need to be stick thin or have 6-pack abs? No one's going to have that after they have a baby anyway. So we should really be throwing that idea out the window. We're bombarded by images all day long of, actors and actresses and supermodels. That's not what regular people look like. So it's more important just about someone who's being active, who's trying to maintain a healthy diet and lifestyle, and that should be good enough. So like if you talk to someone and you're just like, well, are you doing anything to keep active? Or they go, well, I haven't been, but I'm open to. That should be good too, because maybe you're going to be a good influence on them. So just really think about, but of course, some of you do have things in your head like I'm only attracted to this or that. So this is one thing that I go, physical appearance, preferences, and politics. If you have to keep two things on, those are the two things that I'm like, okay, you have to keep them on, because you have to be attracted to the person that you're with. And I get it. And I'd love the rabbi to say his take when he comes on, but it's kind of I think it's against Judaism to not be with someone that you're not physically attracted to, So you are allowed to have this on the list. You want to be physically attracted to your partner, but just know at the end of the day, you're going to be 80 on a porch swing drinking lemonade with your person, and what's going to be left is here and here, the brain and the heart. So just remember that, that the Wizard of Oz, it was about like the Tin Man really needed a heart, the Scarecrow really needed a brain, and we could say that the lion kind of needed to get a personality because he was kind of a wimp. So we just need those three things, and like that's like the three things that those characters were lacking. That's really what we need. Yeah, I know it was courage, but we're gonna call it. Someone said, but we're gonna call it like it was kind of personality. He was kind of lacking a personality if you think about it. He was lacking confidence, we can say. The courage and the confidence are kind of, so that's true. So we all want confidence, a brain, and a heart, really. And okay, cultural ethnic background, we're down to the last three things. If you're Ashkenazi, Sephardic, Persian, Moroccan, all the Jewish different ethnicities and backgrounds and combinations, and mixes, can you be open to, if you're Ashkenazi dating Sephardic and vice versa? The more open we are, the more options we have. But again, sometimes, you grew up differently, you have a different background, you might not relate to each other as much. So that I hear from clients a lot, and I kind of get it. But again, if you can be open, that's great. But the funny thing is when I have an Ashkenazi person tell me I'm only attracted to Sephardic, or a Sephardic tell me I'm only attracted to an Ashkenazi, that's kind of funny for me, because like you're dating kind of against type. And like you can't just say I'm only this or only that. Like it's really good to be open to both. You can have preferences, but when you kind of like cut it off, like only this, only that, that's when you're going to get into trouble. Okay, so again, we're all Jewish, and my best matches I made are an American to a Brazilian woman, an Israeli to a Dutch woman, an Israeli to a Danish woman. It's pretty cool. So I've matched so many different ethnicities and backgrounds, and I love it. And then a lot of the babies that I'm responsible for are going to be trilingual, or they already are. So, so it's pretty cool. Yeah, the Danish are already trilingual, and the Dutch. So think about that. You're going to have pretty smart kids if you date someone from a different cultural ethnic background. Marital status. Can your match be divorced or widowed? Can they have children from a previous relationship? So I get this one. The younger you are, the more you kind of want someone with a clean slate that maybe wasn't divorced, that doesn't have previous kids. As we get older, people are going to have lived life. They're going to come with baggage. So we need to get more open to people with previous kids. But if you want to have kids, then of course you need to be with someone who wants to have more kids. But I always say, like, ladies, it's great to see a man that's already a father. It's really attractive to see how he is with his kids. You're lucky. You kind of get like a preview of what kind of father he's going to be. And you get some foreshadowing into the future. And same gentleman, if the lady comes with a child already. So it's kind of cool, as long as they want more kids, if you want to have kids. So it's and it shows they know how to make a commitment. That it's so funny, I hear judgment from both spectrums like all the time, and my job as a matchmaker is to like shatter the judgments and preconceived notions, because I hear like, let's say you're over 40 and you were never married. So I hear from a woman being like, let's say the woman's 35, she's like, well, why is that guy over 40 and never married? What's wrong with him? It's like, well, he can argue you're never married either, so what's wrong with you? Like we don't want to look at people like what's wrong with them. Maybe he was in a relationship for 6 years. It was almost like he was married, but he wasn't. And then, so sometimes you have like, well, why is he 50 and never married before? And then you have the opposite, like, oh, I didn't really want someone that was married before. I want to be the first husband or the first wife. you know? Again, let's not look at the baggage. Let's just look at who the person is now and what information do I have about them to make a good decision if they're a relevant life partner for me. So they weren't, but at least being divorced shows that you did make a commitment at some point, you know? And of course you want to hear the story of what happened, why they get divorced, but don't ask that on the first 2 dates, okay? Even if they're virtual dates. We want positivity only for the first couple of dates. And lastly, children. Do you want to have children? Are you dreaming of a small or big family one day? I totally get it if you, this is another one that you can keep on your list out of the 8. If you want children, totally entitled to it. And that is a value and that is what you want to make your life complete and fulfilled. Do not get into a relationship with someone who tells you from day one, I don't want more children or I don't want children. As Maya Angelou, that famous quote, when people show or tell you who they are, believe them. Don't try to change them. Don't think, oh, but we match up on everything else. So probably I'm going to be the woman that changes his mind and he's going to want to have babies with me. Like it could happen, but you'd be the exception, not the rule. As from that book, he's just not that into you. So don't live your life and I hope that I'm the exception. You know, like the general rule is people will know if they want children or not. But you do get people that say, I'm open. Like I'm not sure, but I'm open. That can definitely be turned to a yes, I feel, with the right coaching and mentoring, maybe from a relationship coach therapist you go to together, or you talk to someone like Eliza Ben Shalom and she helps you figure it out. But I believe that if it was the man saying that, then if it's the right woman, he's going to turn and definitely be open to children, and the woman will also turn. But that's if you come with, I am open, with the right, not with I am closed. So you want to make sure you're screening for that. And have fun on your virtual dates when you go on them. I will stay after if you don't have virtual dates. And yeah, and thank you all for being here. And again, I'll only have time to answer questions if you're not going on your one-on-one speed dates. But don't worry, we'll have more of these events and you can ask me lots of questions. Okay, so now to introduce our guests of honor for today, and I'm going to spotlight them. We have Ian Mark, the founder of CoronaCrush, and Rabbi Mendel Schwartz of the High Center. How do I spotlight him? I'm making Ian a co-host, and then I'm going to try to spotlight him. Add spotlight. Okay, there we go. Hi, Ian. And there's
Hey.
Where's the rabbi? Is he here? I'm looking for him in the chat. I'm typing Mendel. I don't see him right now. Rabbi, type us if you do you see him, Ian? Or Rabbi, type us in the chat if you're here. Because I don't know what his screen name is. Do you see him, Ian or Rachel?
I don't see him.
Okay, well, I will do the interview with you if for some reason he has, like, I think 5 kids at home right now during the pandemic. So so Ian, I'll let you like start talking while I look for him. Do you want to tell everyone like how you came up with CoronaCrush or what it is or whatever you'd like to share with us today? I'm sure everybody would love to hear.
Sure. So the group started at the end of March. It was myself and 5 friends. We were all hanging out in a Zoom chat, much like this, just talking and joking around. And one of us had the idea to create a Facebook group to help our single friends meet one another. So we created the Facebook group and started inviting our friends and making these posts, like fun posts of our friends. And then the group really took off. People started inviting their friends. After a week or so, we started getting media attention. Like the Israeli government made a video about us and tweeted it from their official Twitter page. Articles were picking up the story about us. And it just kept growing and growing. After a month, we had about 10,000 people in the group. And then, yeah, and then I guess the rest is history.
It's amazing, like the growth that it had so quickly. Do you want to talk about like how you use the group like effectively for people that haven't been on it? And I'll put a link to it in the chat so everybody can join.
Sure. What was the question?
Oh, how do you use the group effectively and yeah,
Oh,
like
as a
how do you even
participant.
use it? Yeah.
So, so there's a few ways or a few services, I guess, that you can say we provide. The most basic and I guess the most commonly used is the posting in the group. Is you can post yourself or a friend, and you should try to post something fun about yourself or about your friend to try to get people interested in them. The best posts are the ones that are the funniest or the most entertaining to read. They're not the ones that are like five or like two lines and not really saying anything.
Eh,
And then the other services that we provide that are for people who aren't so into publicly posting themselves are speed dating, which many of you will be experiencing tonight, and then also matchmaking itself. We have a matchmaker who actually is we got an anonymous donation, a generous donation to hire a matchmaker. So we have a matchmaker working for us, making matches within the group. Um, and yeah, and that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I've been collaborating with Ian's matchmaker, Yafat. She's amazing. It's amazing that they got this donation and now they're a nonprofit, and like this all happened like just since March. So like it's just amazing how fast a lot of online stuff has grown since the pandemic. But I mean, it makes sense. And I'm so glad that I found Ian's group, and like you'll see me in there posting about some of my clients, and it's always a completely complimentary free experience if you happen to match one of my clients. And but you guys can use it to be your own matchmakers. And as Ian said, you need to write kind of like a catchy, fun thing, not just like two sentences like, hi, I'm Jessica from Los Angeles and I like walking at the beach. That's very generic and it's not going to catch people's attention. So my team and I can help you write really targeted, fun, colorful, dynamic bios. And otherwise go to I've seen people's friends just be like amazing writers coming out of the woodwork and writing these like amazing posts for each other. So just go to the writer friend of your group and ask them to write it for you. I think that's what everyone's doing, is going to their creative writing friend and telling them to write it. And Ian, there's been a few marriages from it, right?
So marriage is one, engagements four.
That's amazing. And like all since March. Oh, okay. I see the rabbi now. I guess he had the wrong password. I apologize, Rabbi Mendel. I'm going to add you to the spotlight. Okay, you're in now. And we asked Ian how he came up with the group and yeah, the basics of like how the group started. So feel free to take it away and ask him more questions.
Okay, I just want to say thanks everyone for coming, either through the Chai Center or through all the other channels. I want to put a special shout out to our partnering organizations. Whenever you have 3 Jews in one room, there's 10 opinions. So to have 65 Jews in one room and have 5 organizations agreeing to something, it's always a miracle. And I want to also thank Jessica and Adrian especially for doing a lot of the logistics, and of course for Ian, who I'm basically meeting virtually for the first time. So I want to say thanks to Ian. And I want to bless you, Ian, with a continued tremendous hatzlacha, tremendous success. I'm even wearing my I Love Israel shirt because I know you have a lot of Israel ties there. And my son just became a paratrooper in the IDF.
Wow.
He's on a 30-day leave to hang out with us for Hanukkah, and he's going back. And I just want to share with everyone that today is the 20th anniversary of my marriage.
Amazing.
And if I would have ever thought when I was a 20 or a 30-year-old man that marriage can be so good, you would have said I'm hanging out with the Hollywood celebrities and the Kardashians a little too much, and I should simmer down, Rabbi. But the truth is there is hope for marriage, and the hope is because all of the people like yourself who are coming to a group like this, who are serious and committed, and people like Ian as well, to facilitate something like this, the future is very bright. And you should know that the future for yourself and for your life is very bright. I just want to say thank you to all of you.
Heavy girl.
Let me see who else.
Oh,
Not
someone came off of mute, I think. Okay, I found them.
Okay, So you already asked Ian, I'm sure, a lot of great questions. And I have a question for Ian. What is your goal? What do you envision for, let's say, 5 years from now for CoronaCrush?
Wow. It's an interesting question. I mean, the whole mission and the whole point of this is really just to create as many couples as I possibly can, or we possibly can. 5 years from now is very, very hard to say. I'm hoping we still exist in 5 years. I mean, we started as something that was meant to be for Corona times and to help people meet when it was very difficult to meet one another. But as Corona begins to die down a little bit, I'm hoping that people will still use our platform and people will still get married from it.
Beautiful, beautiful. I just want to say, you know, for a rabbi like myself that studies a lot of Talmud and it discusses a lot about soulmates and bashert, and your bashert has been preordained 40 days before your parents conceived you, or some people say it's 40 days after you were already conceived and somewhat developing already in your mother's womb. At that point already, the angels are already being the shadchanim, the matchmakers, and deciding who's going to get married to whom. This is discussed in the Talmud 2,000 years ago. And I'm just wondering if the rabbis 2,000 years ago that were discussing this thought that the process of two people coming together will be through an app or a Zoom like we're doing tonight. This is thousands of years ago. So it's always interesting, you know, going back and back to the future and back to the past. But either way, you guys are all on the right track. I don't want to take up more of your time. I just really want to say thanks to every one of you. And thank you again to Jessica as well.
Thank you, Rabbi Mendel. I'm so happy you got here, and I'm so sorry that the password was case sensitive, but I guess everybody else was able to get here. So thank goodness, thank God that the participants got here and that you got here at the end. So those of you that have speed dates, they'll start in 5 or 7 minutes. I'm happy to stay on. I don't know if Rabbi Mendel wants to stay on to answer anybody's questions about relationships. So anybody that didn't get speed dates, I'm happy to stay on here another half hour. And you can ask any questions about the presentation. I don't know if Ian wants to stay on and answer any questions. But maybe like before we let Ian go, because it's super late there, does anybody have specific questions for Ian about like starting CoronaCrush? You can come off mute or you can type it in the chat box. But I don't know if people came prepared with questions because.
I do have a question for Ian, if I can ask something.
Sure.
It's just that, you know, when you started the group, did you feel like it was by accident? Because I think you have another job, and then this sort of like was a side project. So did you ever like envision just kind of, you know, blowing this thing up, or was it sort of more like just, you know, a side project just to kind of, you know, help out a couple of people? Then, you know, after that, you did a hesed for them.
Well, it still is a side project. This isn't my full-time job just yet. Maybe one day it will be. But I kind of understood when Corona was going on and everybody was in lockdown that people were spending obscene amounts of time online, so that there was a good chance that if we played our cards right, that this group could get really big. And I think at the time when we were starting, there were some other Facebook groups that were getting very big as well, that were doing similar things. So I sort of had a good idea that if I invited the right people and we made the group fun and the posts like unique, that it would really take off. And that's kind of what happened.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's awesome that I think you started this trend, Ian, and then some people copied you with the groups. And we're like so happy that you gave everyone other opportunities to meet. I put the link to his group here. I'll have to copy paste it again. So make sure everybody has joined it. And then Ian, how can they do if they didn't get speed dates today? You just want to explain like the algorithm? Like it's not that we don't want to invite you. It's just we only want to invite you when there's mutual matches.
So I'll explain how I guess the algorithm works. So everything is done by computers. There's no human involvement in the matchmaking, in the whole speed dating process at all, other than clicking some buttons here and there. The way it works is people fill out the sign up form, and they're answering questions based on their dating preferences. The categories are age, location, and religious preferences. And based on these preferences, I'll run an algorithm before an event that will determine how many possible matches everybody has, or to try to create like a fake schedule for an event. So let's say you have 400 or 500 people who filled out the form. It'll try to match all those people up in a way and create a schedule so that as many possible dates are occurring. And what happens is, unfortunately, some people's answers don't meet the criteria of many other people, and then those people will, let's say, only have 1 or 2 dates when the algorithm creates the matches for them. So what I decided to do is to not invite those people to the event if they're only getting 2 to 1 in the preliminary matching, because what ends up happening is when I invite, let's say, 500 people, only 40 to 50% are going to say that they're going to come. So I don't want to be in a situation where I'm inviting people because they have 1 or 2 potential matches and then they end up with 0 matches. I'd rather people have a minimum of 4 or 5 matches in the preliminary matching for them to get the invite. And then the process after they get those emails is I need to get RSVPs back. So that's where the 40 to 50% come. And after people have RSVP'd, then I run the algorithm again, and then it optimizes the event based on everybody who has RSVP'd.
Yeah, so and some people are asking me in the chat, also privately, like if you didn't get the email, it would have come from team@coronacrush.co, and then you would have had to click I accept and RSVP so that Ian's algorithm could have gotten your dates ready for tonight. So if you didn't get the email, that means you didn't get speed dates for tonight, but that's why I'm going to stay on the Zoom, and I can let people who stayed even go around the room and introduce themselves, and then you'll get like a taste of what it's like when you come to like my private, I call them dating roundtables. So there's like 2 ways that speed dating has gone on during the pandemic. Ian's way of like one-on-one with the computers matching you, but then, you know, you only can get invited when it's like really a relevant match, but it's good because anyone who got a match today, it's very targeted, like what you were looking for in terms of location, religious level. And then I have these group Zoom speed dates where maybe not everything matched, but like still maybe there's somebody there that, again, if you had just gone on your dating app or filled out a survey, they might have not matched you based on a couple years of age or exact religious observance level, or the city. But like if you come on the Zoom and you see the person live, you'd be willing to give that person a chance. But if you were just filling out a very strict form about what you're looking for, so the computer is only going to go with exactly what you filled out. You know what I mean? So both ways are good, and you get different options based on trying different things. So that's why I even had in my survey, are people shy at virtual events right now? And some people have said yes. And it's like, but keep doing it. Come to CoronaCrush speed dating events. Ian is doing like a few of them per month. So by the way, if you apply to this one, they'll be in your database, right, Ian? So they could get invited to another one when they do have a match.
That is correct.
Okay, that's good. So keep that in mind. You filled it out. You're in his database now. You can get invited. His events are always free right now. My events vary. Sometimes they're paid, sometimes they're free. But when they're paid, we're giving a lot to the organizations like Rabbi Mendel of the High Center. And, you know, it's going to the Jewish organizations and the nonprofits. And so I'm really happy for those events too. So if you stay on today, you'll get a taste of that. Maybe we'll go around the room and introduce ourselves. And again, if you did not get the email about the dates tonight and you did not RSVP, so you don't have speed dates, but you can make new friends on this Zoom, or maybe someone on this Zoom has a friend or a cousin or you know, a niece or a nephew for you. So there could be lots of opportunities that come on from staying on this Zoom. So in fact, I encourage everyone, like text some friends this link right now if they all want to come on and hang out. We can all stay on and hang out for a bit. And maybe we do like some Q&A, ask the matchmaker anything, or the rabbi. Rabbi, how long do you want to stay on? Do you want to stay on 10 more minutes and see if people have questions?
Yes, and I'm just curious, the people on this chat right now, Jessica, are those that are not joining the CoronaCrush algorithm?
Right. Okay. It's 5 o'clock Pacific, 8 o'clock Eastern right now. If you had dates, leave this Zoom and go open your email and go on your dates right now because they're starting. So you have to be in charge of your own time. You get like a different link for each person.
The way it works now, Jessica, the way it works now is you just go onto the platform,
Oh.
you click one link, and then it'll automatically change your rooms for you. You don't have to
Oh,
do
amazing.
anything one by one.
Great.
Yeah, everything is done automated now.
Okay, so they just click the link from their email and they'll be good and they'll start their
There's a platform
speed dating.
link. If they click on it, they'll see their chats and it'll rotate the rooms for them automatically.
Okay, all right, cool.
And for those that never got an email with a link, that means they're not joining tonight.
Yeah.
Right.
And this is why I wanted to do this presentation and have this option because there had been a lot of people going to the CoronaCrush speed dating events that, you know, did not get invited. And so I wanted, like in past events that I wasn't involved in. So in my event, I wanted to give everybody who didn't get a personal one-on-one speed date, we can all speed date this way. And what I call the dating roundtable style instead of the one-on-one. So you're going to still be in a roundtable, even if you didn't have one-on-one matches. And you're in his system to be matched in the future because Ian could have another event where you get matches.
Right. We have another event actually in 13 days, or I guess for you it's 2 weeks, 14 days. That will include people from the West Coast or include all of the United States, and it'll be a much bigger event. So the likelihood of being invited will be much higher than for this event, since this one was much more concentrated geography.
Yeah, we did this West Coast and Southern U.S.
Mostly
focus.
West. Yeah.
Mostly West. Yeah, because most of our organizations.
And also Texas. Yeah, because of J-Hype.
Yeah, exactly.
I see people are jumping off the Zoom. I'm assuming that they're entering their dating.
Yeah, I think the people who jumped off either retired or they're going to their speed date. So I think the people remaining want to be here and are not going to speed dating. So sounds good to me. We'll give them another opportunity to meet each other. So feel free, you guys who are still here, also to write your names, locations. If you're willing to date long distance, you can write it in the chat. And you know, feel free to be engaging in the chat right now. Does anyone have questions for? And Ian, thank you so much for being here and staying up late. and
yeah, I'm already up, so I'm happy to answer more questions if people have. I'm talking to people privately, even in the chat right now.
In the chat. Okay, cool. Great.
People are asking me stuff. But if anybody wants to ask me questions, I'm happy to answer.
And I was just going to say, join CoronaCrush Facebook group, no matter what, because for those of you unfamiliar, you can just post about yourself public or have a friend write about you in the group publicly, and then you can start getting comments going about yourself. So even if you didn't get a speed date tonight, you can be getting a match from the CoronaCrush Facebook group by posting about yourself. But it is better when a friend posts about you. Like I post about my clients, other people, they go, this is my friend, Ian, you know, he lives in Israel. Like, so you can write it yourself. But then, you know, the best salesman for you is always somebody else, right? So you want somebody else to post it about you. And of course, someone that really loves you and it's an authentic post, but it's always much better salesperson for somebody else, you know, to promote you and talk about you. Okay, so feel free.
I want to know, is Ian single? Is he available? What's the story there?
I love it, Rabbi.
Come on.
I don't know if he wants to tell.
All right, he's not answering. Okay, no problem. No problem.
I'm busy answering the private questions I'm getting right now. People, feel free to ask me with your voices as well, so I don't have to type so much.
Yeah,
it's easier to talk than to type.
Like if you want to write the question, then I can call on you and you can come off mute. There's a countdown which shows 20 more minutes. Oh, of this chat, like of this event. I don't think so, because
if you're on a free Zoom, it might. I don't know. Are you on a free Zoom?
No. I definitely have the paid account. There's a countdown which shows 20. Oh, for speed dating. Okay. Okay? So that means.
Oh, wait, what?
In the speed dating event, it's showing that there's 20 minutes left.
I do have a question for Ian.
If somebody's did somebody ask you that question just now?
Yeah, in the chat privately. Yeah.
Oh, so tell them to refresh, maybe.
Oh, okay. Refresh it. Yeah, if you have technical questions too, I guess you can text Ian, but then he's not going to be able to answer the questions live. Maybe I'm going to take the recording off so that people